What's up, horror fans? It's Danny from the Lasser Cast, and as you can see, I'm sitting at work. I got Chucky literally looking over my shoulder on my smart board in my classroom. I am free this period, so I thought, let me bang out my review of Chucky Episode 3 from Season 2, which premiered Wednesday on USA and SYFY. This easily my favorite episode of the season so far. It's called Hail Mary, double meaning there. Directed again by Samir Rahem, written by Rachel Paredes and Nick Ziegler. And this episode, the acting in this show is so good. Considering, and from the Chucky panel at New York Comic Con, Don Mancini made this point that these are actual kids acting. These are actual teenagers acting. These are not 20 to 30-year-olds playing, high school age kids. And the three leads in this show are just killing it. Zachary Arthur, Björgvin Arnesen, and for me, the standout so far has been Alyvia Alyn Lind as Lexy. Lexy's character, from where she was at the beginning of this show to where she is now, the closest I can compare it to is Steve Harrington from Stranger Things. If you go back to Season 1 of Stranger Things, the first half of Season 1, Steve Harrington is an asshole, and we hate him. And he comes around to becoming this amazing character. We all thought Steve was going to die in Season 1, and now it's like, if Steve dies, we riot. And that's kind of the same thing with Lexy. She was queen bitch to the point where we were rooting for this, 14, 15-year-old girl to be sliced up by Chucky in Season 1. And here we are in Season 2, and she is, I think, easily becoming a fan favorite, and just probably the best developed character on this show. She has so much character development in this episode. Now that she's basically struggling with a drug addiction, trying to cope with the idea that, her father is dead, her entire family life is torn apart. She blames herself for Junior's death from Season 1, and she's racked with guilt that Junior kind of took the fall for Chucky in Season 1. And now she's, of course, in our Incarnate Lord. There's great moments between her and Nadine, played by Bella Higginbotham, who is fantastic. A wonderful new addition to this show. I've seen Lexine maybe be as their best friend pair, that they are that's their team name is Lexine. I don't know if that's catching on, but her and Nadine have great character moments here. And again, great character moments between Jake and Devon. Devon also coping with the fact that, his mother was killed by Chucky. And, while him and Jake are a couple, and while, they're in the throes of young love, Devon is seriously getting frustrated with the idea of, they have this Chucky from last episode that they have, they're trying to, torture for information. And basically, Devon's just let's just kill him. Let's just kill this Chucky. And because any moment that he's alive, he's going to make our lives miserable. And Jake is trying to come up with a plan, and Devon's getting frustrated. And so there's tension there. And then there's Trevor, the king asshole of Incarnate Lord. I want to shout out Jordan Cronus, the actor who plays Trevor, because like Lexy in Season 1, this kid does a great job of making you hate him. You want to see him die. And oh boy, spoiler alert, does he die in awesome fashion later in this episode. They have the Chucky puppet, they have the Chucky doll tied up. And they're trying to torture him, but he's Chucky, so he's enjoying the torture. So Jake comes up with a slightly ingenious plan of, let's use aversion therapy and let's brainwash Chucky and make him our friend so that he'll let us know what the real Chucky's main overarching plan is. And I love that they clockwork orange his eyes open and they force him to watch all of these horror movies. And the ones that they showed, the two that I picked up on, obviously, was John Carpenter's The Thing, but the other one was Darkman, which I found hilarious because my dad would let me watch almost anything when I was a kid. You know, he would always tell me, don't tell mom, and, you know, if you're too scared to go to bed, just put the light on. But he would pretty much let me watch and rent anything from the video store. But for some reason, he had a black spot on Sam Raimi. He didn't want me watching the Evil Dead movies when I was too young, and he wouldn't let me rent Darkman. So I love the idea that Darkman is being used to, like, basically scare Chucky straight here. And then after that, when he doesn't want to watch any more violence, they then pump him full of, like, My Little Pony and, like, all of these kid shows. And Brad Dourif's voice acting here is so funny when he's, like, docile Chucky. So you think that now the Chucky doll is, you don't know if he's playing them or not, but then we see another Chucky doll is delivered, and things start to happen. While Nadine is giving confession, the priest is strangled with his own rosary beads. We don't know if it's reformed Chucky, who has just been playing them, or if it's this new Chucky doll. And then Trevor tries to plant drugs on Lexy. They've been, like, sparring this whole episode, like, trying to get it at each other because of their past. So Trevor sneaks into Lexy's room, tries to plant some drugs, and all of a sudden, a Chucky answers the door and punches a literal hole through Trevor's chest, not Trevor's chest, that would be weird, Trevor's chest, killing him instantly. Wow. Like, the camera does this amazing thing where it pans, like, through the hole, and I'm just like, that can't be, Chucky's never done anything like this. And we finally see, like, the last shot of this episode is we see the Chucky doll that's been delivered, and he's got, like, his shirt ripped open, and he's got pecs, and he's buff, and he's, like, super buff Chucky. It reminded me a lot of Super Freddy in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5 when he kills Mark, the comic book artist, and I was pretty much hysterically laughing at that point. Just a brilliant twist. You know, they have all of these Chucky dolls, so they keep trying to make new ways to improve them. You had the bald Chucky in the first episode, and all the other Chuckies were making fun of him. In Cult of Chucky, you had buzz cut Chucky, and now here you have super buff Chucky, who can literally punch holes through human beings. Fantastic. Of course, there's tons of character development. There's tons of how the characters are dealing being in this Christian, Catholic-run incarnate Lord, dealing with Devon Sawa as the head priest, and with the other priests, and with the nuns. Obviously, the idea of two gay boys trying to have a relationship inside of a church-run school is scary enough for them. And then just phenomenal character work from Alyvia Alyn Lind as Lexy in this episode, dealing with, the addiction and her growing friendship with Bella Higginbotham as Nadine, who is just a wonderful new addition to this show. And on the next week, coming soon, next week on Chucky, we go back to Jennifer Tilly, and it looks as if she's hosting a party at her house, a murder mystery party at her house, and two of the guests are Gina Gershon and Joe Pantoliano from Bound, and I'm so excited for that. The Bound reunion next week on Chucky. This show has been fantastic. I love watching it. I love reviewing it for this channel. So that's episode 3. If you want more horror stuff, in the month of October, I mean, the Lacercast, we have you covered. Give our channel a subscribe. We are down to one more episode of the 101 Scariest Horror Movie Moments on Shudder. We are counting down the final 10 next Wednesday. If you want to see all of our episodes, counting down from 101 to 11, those are up on the channel now. We just had Mike from the Pop Culture Man-Children podcast join us for the last countdown. Pete and I were joined by a group of horror writers to cover Halloween Ends and Hellraiser. We also have a great interview up with our friend David Weiner, the director of In Search of Darkness, parts 1 and 2, with part 3 on the way. So if you're looking for horror coverage this October, come to the Lacercast, and we are here for you. So this has been Danny. Oh, there's Chucky. He's back. This has been Danny from the Lacercast. I'll see you very soon.